Hello and welcome to another video from Natasha Lee. Now I get asked an awful lot about how do you apply loose glitters to both gel polish and nail polish. So today I'm bringing you a tutorial showing you both. 3 different ways to apply loose glitters to nail polish and gel polish. For this video I'm going to be using Mermaid from my own collection of glitters designed by Natasha Lee. And if you want to see swatches of all my glitters, they are available in a video on my YouTube channel, or there's a swatch video on each listing on my site, divinebynatashalee.com. First we have burnished onto gel polish. After applying base coat and curing if you need to with your brand of polish, apply your first layer of colour coat and then cure, closely followed by your second layer of colour coat, and then cure this one too. Take your glitter brush, and I'm using NL4 from the Natasha Lee brushes, and links to all the products are in the description. Apply the glitter onto that cured colour coat, and it should have a sticky layer so the glitter should stick to it. Sort of pat it on, and then we're going to brush it down over the whole nail. And the act of brushing it down flattens all of those glitter flakes to make it super beautiful and give that really sort of lovely chrome finish to it. Once you're happy with that, make sure you've cleaned all the excess glitter from around the cuticle area because it makes it much easier after, and pat around the free edge before going in with your first layer of top coat. Once you've applied this nice and evenly, remembering to cap those ends of the nail to prevent any sharp bits with the glitter, we're going to cure in your lamp. Then go in with your second layer of top coat, and we do normally need to use 2 layers of top coat with glitters because otherwise it can look textured when you're finished. Once you've applied that second layer again, get it nice and even and cap the ends, and then cure in your lamp. And that is the finished look, and this is probably my favourite method of applying glitters. Next we have the sprinkled then top coated method. For this, again apply base coat and cure, and then your first layer of colour coat and cure before going in with your second layer of colour coat, but don't cure this one, we want to keep that colour coat wet. And then we're just simply going to sprinkle that glitter straight onto that wet colour coat. And we're making sure we've covered the whole nail, and then I like to pat the nail, and I'm using my triangle tray underneath to catch any excess glitter to be able to put it back in the pot. Don't tidy up too much at this point because that polish underneath is wet. Then we're going to cure it in our lamp, and once it's cured, take your fan brush and dust briskly over the nail to remove any of the excess loose flakes of glitter. Then we're going to apply our first layer of top coat and make this one a generous one so it gets in between all those upright glitter flakes. This nail look will be a little bit thicker than the burnished, but it does give a lovely different sparkle to it. Make sure you get it nice and even all around that cuticle area, and remember to cap those ends as well, and then cure. Take a 240 file and very lightly after curing just get rid of any sharp bits of glitter sticking out around that free edge. It just makes it easier to not slice your fingers open. And then we're going to go in with our final layer of top coat and apply this again nice and evenly, and it should be much easier capping that free edge this time. And capping the free edge is where you take the polish round the end of the nail. Clean up any uncured product from the skin before curing in your lamp. And that is our finished sprinkled then top coated look. This one is very, very sparkly. Next we have our sprinkled onto top coat on gel polish. So again, apply your base coat and cure, apply your first layer of colour and then cure, and then apply your second layer of colour and then cure. Then we're going to go in with our top coat, but don't cure this one, we're going to keep our top coat wet. And we're doing this because we need to finish that service. We need to apply that top coat over the colour before we apply the glitter. Then we're going to sprinkle our glitter straight into that wet top coat, and make sure you cover the whole nail. And I'm using my triangle tray underneath to catch any of the excess glitter so that I can pop it back into the pot afterwards. And these are also available on my site, divinebynatashalee.com. Once you've covered the whole nail with glitter, tap the nail to remove any excess, and then we're going to pop it in our lamp to cure. Using your fan brush, just remove any of the excess unused glitter and pop it back into your pot to save any wastage. Use your fan brush then to remove any of the excess glitter from around the nail. Give it a really good brisk dusting. And here is the finished look. And you could take a 240 file around that free edge again if you wanted to soften in the glitter edges. Now for nail polish and this first look, we are burnishing into the nail. So I've applied my base coat, allowed to dry, and then my first layer of colour coat and allowed to dry. Then go in with your second layer of colour coat nice and evenly over the whole nail. Remember to cap those ends, which is where we apply the polish to the end of the nail, and then allow to dry. Apply an even layer of foil glue to the whole nail, and this will go on looking sort of like a whitey blue, and that's perfectly normal. It's so you can see where you've applied it. So apply it evenly over the whole nail, and then we're going to leave it to dry. And once it's dry, it goes completely and utterly clear. Once it's dry, we're just going to apply the glitter onto the nail and then brush it over the nail, much like we did on the gel polish. Just pat it onto that foil glue, firmly push down into the foil glue and then brush over the whole nail. Go in with your first layer of top coat, apply it nice and evenly over the whole nail and then allow to dry. Go in with your second layer of top coat, again nice and generously because we want to make sure that when this dries we don't get left with a textured nail. We want it to look super shiny, super glossy and super sparkly. And there is the finished look. Now for sprinkled then top coat on nail polish, again apply your base coat, allow to dry, go in with your first layer of colour coat and then allow to dry. Go in with your second layer of colour coat and apply it nice and generously because we don't want this to dry too quickly, so apply a nice thick layer, and once you're happy with that we're going to very quickly go in with our brush and our loose glitter and start to sprinkle it over that whole nail. Apply it over the whole nail quite quickly, don't forget to go down those side walls, and once you're happy you've applied it to the whole nail, tap the nail, and again I'm using my triangle tray to catch any excess glitter to put back into the pot. We're going to allow that to dry now, and once it's dry we're going to brush off any excess glitter with a fan brush before we go in with our first generous layer of top coat. And I say generous because again, especially with nail polish, once those solvents evaporate and it dries, it can actually shrink quite a bit and you get left with quite a textured nail. So we want to apply a nice generous layer. This will be thicker than just doing a colour coat, but it's sparkly, so who cares? Once you've applied that first layer, allow to dry. And then when it's dry, as you can see it's very textured, we're going to go in with that second layer. This is the one that will make it look super sparkly and super glossy. Now we're going to do finally sprinkled onto top coat on nail polish. So again, we've applied our base coat, allowed it to dry, and we're applying our first layer of colour coat and then allowing that to dry. Then we're going to go in with our second layer of colour coat and apply this nice and evenly over the whole nail before allowing it to dry. Clean up any mistakes using a brush dipped in nail polish remover or acetone. Now I'm ready over my triangle tray. I'm applying a really thick, quick layer of top coat. Now we don't want a quick drying top coat if we can avoid it here, because we don't want it to dry whilst we're applying our glitter. So get a good, generous layer of top coat and then quickly start sprinkling that glitter all over the nail. Make sure you get any areas that you've missed down the sides, around the cuticle area and towards the tip of the nail. And then tap the nail to remove any of the excess glitter. And here is the final look. And it is that easy. 3 different ways to apply loose nail glitters to gel polish and nail polish. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I do need to say a huge thank you to some new VIPs, and they are Glenda Anderson, Heather Brown, Sharon Lee Ackerman, Wesley Sale and Alison McGowan. Thank you so much, you guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you want to find any of my glitters or products, then head on over to my website, divinebynatashalee.com. If you too want to become a VIP on the channel, then head on over to natashalee.vip. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all very, very soon.